Heyo, and welcome to another Ninja Build Reviews. And today I am going to be taking a part in TFfangeeks. I'll include a link to his channel in the description below. Anyway, challenge, which is the Transformers all-time favorite Optimus Prime figure tag challenge. And as we go, the figure I selected ultimately I had to do as a process, and I even asked for some help on Discord, my Discord server, but ultimately I had to knock down the list. Why? It's because I have a lot of Optimus Prime figures. Like, a lot of Optimus Prime figures. So I had to make choices. I had to narrow, and I'll explain those choices. So, as I was saying, I had to make some choices. I got to raise up my camera here a little bit. There we go. And ultimately, it came down to since the figure challenge specifically said Optimus Prime, I had to not use any of my Convoy figures, because that shelf I just showed you is a mix of Optimus Prime and Convoy. Now, if any of you have ever watched the Japanese series, when I say this, you'll know exactly what I mean. Convoy and Optimus Prime are not the same person. They're not. Their characters, their traits are different. They act different. They're two different things. They're not the same. So, because of that, I had to eliminate some of my absolute favorite figures. Superfighter Convoy is one of my all-time favorite figures. I love it. It is absolutely one of the best Optimus Prime toys, or Convoy toys, ever produced, in my opinion. To date, ever. And I'm not including third parties, because they're not Optimus Primes. I don't care what people say, it's not Optimus Prime. It's not. Alright, they're not officially licensed. His name isn't Optimus Prime. If it doesn't come in a box and it says Optimus Prime on that box, if it doesn't have TM, Takara, or Hasbro on it, it's not Optimus Prime. Great figures, yes. Fantastic articulation, all paint and work, all that stuff. It's still not Optimus Prime. Alright, it's a lie. You sell yourself. I'm not into lying. Still great figures. Would I take one? Absolutely. But I wouldn't call it Optimus Prime. I wouldn't call it Convoy either. I'd call it whatever the hell name's on the box. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the figure that I ultimately chose. Once I eliminated all the Convoy toys, and I have quite a few of them, they're Japanese editions, not the American Optimus Prime. They're all Convoys, and which again, not the same character. So ultimately, I came down to this guy right here. This guy, which is the Titans Return Voyager class Optimus Prime. And you're probably thinking, well, what makes him so special? Well, one, this is my custom, obviously, but two, he has characteristics, where's my English today, of some of my favorite Optimus Primes of the past. Even though they were technically Convoys, because I have them as Convoys. So I think, in all honesty, this toy really works, even though it has its own issues and problems, and you've already seen my review. Everyone has this toy, and that's great, but, you know, again, this is my custom. So ultimately, I think this comes down to what I think is a great Optimus Prime toy. There are better. Yes, there are better. I'm not saying there isn't. What I'm saying is I think he is a good representation from many different types of Optimus Primes. Anyway, so here he is. I'll start him out in this vehicle mode. We'll go ahead and get rid of his accessories there. Remove them out of the way. There we go. And we will focus on those. So he really comes with 3 accessories. You can see Diak right there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little guy. And again, I've done some custom work to him. He's a pretty cool little fella. So, you know, I dig it. I like that Optimus Prime head sculpt there on the back. It's pretty cool. I dig it. This is the sword he came with. I've added some color to it. Got some nice molded details in there. Pretty cool. And of course the double barrel rifle. Various ports and plugs and ways to hook it on, attach it to the main character. And it's all a diac. We don't have to go over it. We've all seen it, alright? We've all seen this toy. We know what's what. And of course, this is the main vehicle, and it's pretty cool. I dig it. And I know as part of his rules that he said that we let me see here, which I should talk about real quick, because he did have a few rules in this contest. One, name which action figure Optimus Prime is your favorite, which I have already done, i.e. which line the figure is from, show transformation as well as both robot and alt mode, or modes, in this case modes, and state the reasons why this is your all-time favorite version of Optimus Prime. He isn't, but he's close enough in this case. And then tag at least 3 other Transformer collectors or YouTube reviewers, which is optional. So, there we go. Okay, I'm back. But anyway, this is easily one of my favorite of the line. I like the big Power Master version. Of course, its leader size is bigger, but he didn't do what this toy did, even though it was meant for something else. I like the overall looks of this guy, especially in the robot mode. Robot mode is what did it for me. Really, the vehicle modes are great, and this is the truck mode, obviously. That's pretty cool. I dig it. I like it. It's fine. So, there's the bottom. I mean, it does the job that it's supposed to do. It sells itself as a tanker truck, even though, you know, there should be some space there, but, you know, whatever. So, I don't even mind. A lot of people complained about this, you know. They never seen real tanker trucks, apparently, where, you know, they have this gap in the middle right there. It's fine, okay? It's fine. It's believable. Even though, you know, the axle distance of the axles here in relation to the axles back here is a little off, but they had to account for all this stuff in the middle. Because if you say the width here of these axles is shorter than the width here or here, if you look. But again, it has to allow for transformation. So, but it is noticeable, really noticeable. Even from the side here, you'll see they're like, well, wait a minute, these seem farther closer to the camera than these. And it's not an optical illusion. That is actually the case. As you can see, the width here is different by a few millimeters. So anyway, moving beyond that, let's get him into his next vehicle mode so I can show that. But this is my favorite alternate mode. The jet mode, it works, but this is my favorite of the 3 modes he has. So I will be right back. And we're back, and here he is in his secondary alt mode, which is that of a, whoops, I totally messed up. Look at that. Look at that. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Oh. There we go. Now that's his secondary alt mode, and totally forgot to do that step. Anyway, been a while since I played around with it. But anyway, here he is. And I like it. I mean, it's not as good as his truck mode. It's, you know, this is a eyesore, I think. But, you know, it works. It works. I guess it works. It's believable. You know, if you use your imagination, it's believable. Little known fact is you can actually store diac not only in both modes, here in this cockpit canopy right here that opens and closes, right? But you could also store diac here in the nose cone if you wanted. Took a bit of doing, but it could store inside there if you wanted. I think Let's see if I can demonstrate that. It's been a while. Come on. Boy, when this thing tabs together, it does so pretty tightly. So there you go. So anyway, as I was saying, little known fact is you can actually store diac in here. It takes a bit of doing and know-how, but it's possible. It's possible. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about his mold mate, which is Octane. I forgot you can't do it with this one. Still pretty cool. But you could store it inside here in the belly of that tank if you wanted, or it could store right in there. Of course, you can have all his accessories all over there if you wanted, or whatnot. You know, it's not my favorite mode, alt mode. I think it works better for Astro Train, even though, or not Astro Train. Jeez, man, I am totally not with it today. Blitzwing. No, not Blitzwing, Octane. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I don't know. But anyway, it does differ. It does have different details than Octane. And you know, differing, like the cab is slightly, it's molded, this part right here, which forms the shoulder pauldrons, has different molded details. Tail section has a different molded details. The wings are differently, have different molding, you know. The rest, the cockpit is molded differently, you know. So, you know, it is different enough to distinguish between the two molds. But other than that, they share a lot of things, and it's not my favorite mold. But it pulls it off, you know, successfully, and still, you know, rolls like a champ, just like the truck could. Thanks to all those wheels down here, you still got every single one of them. So, you know, he rolls really well if you want. So, anyway, but star of the show, I think, is the robot mode, and we will be right back. And we're back, and here he is in his robot mode, and I think he looks pretty good, especially now that this, again, isn't the standard fare. This is my custom. I've added custom paint to him to bling it up a bit, make him look a little bit better, but this, I think, is a solid robot mode. Is it great? Yes, it lacks, you know, some good articulation. It would have been nice to have some rockers here. Would have been nice to have wrist articulation, you know, waist articulation here, but because of how they do this, oh, you know what? There you go. I always forget that step, so makes him a little bit back heavy. There we go. And I think it looks great. I do. I think it looks great. I like the robot mode. He has aspects of several different Optimus Primes. He has aspect of the G2 Hero Optimus Prime. He has aspects of, you know, the Laser Prime. He has aspects of the powered, you know, convoy, or, you know, really, you know, Power Master Optimus Prime. There are some molded details which, you know, are subtle and hint to those various other modes, but he looks good. Now, obviously, you know, he has this huge backpack, because the way I do the wings here, because I don't like those wings being out. You could, if you wanted, you know, have the wings being splayed out if you wanted. Sure, you could have that look. It's entirely up to you, but I don't much care for the wings in the robot mode. You know, if I wanted to do a jet wing Optimus Prime, sure, I guess. It's just, I don't know. Some people may like the look. I guess it's okay. I'm just not with it. I'm not with it. Yeah, you know, you could have those folded up any which way, depending on how you like it. And this limits articulation somewhat because of how it's designed. As you can see, it hits up against that. So, you know, still, all in all, it is one of my favorite figures, especially after I added my custom details. It really, really helps me love the toy even more. And this is why I say it's my, if not my all-time favorite, it is my favorite of the regular line Voyager class figures. And this is the old Voyager scale, not the new Voyager scale, by the way. So they've since changed the scale now, so that every toy will, no matter the line, will pretty much scale with each other, and it's okay, I guess. For example, here is a new Deluxe scale figure. And the Deluxe is about stayed the same size. So when they scaled differently, this Deluxe figures always pretty much stayed the same scale until you introduce, like, say, the Studio Series Deluxe scale. And as you can see, B here is smaller, a lot smaller. Then you introduce the Cyberverse Deluxe scale. So we'll set that right there as a Voyager. That could be actually a whole nother discussion video, but for example, here's a Warrior class, which isn't quite Deluxe scale. Here is a Cyberverse Deluxe, which is Deluxe, well, almost the same thing as their Warrior class scale. Almost. But not quite the same scale as here. This could be a whole nother topic video. So anyway, we'll get rid of those. That was just some quick comparisons. We'll get rid of all of that. There you go. Get rid of him. But I just really, I like this toy. I do. Some people don't, but I do. I think it is a good representation of many different Optimus Prime toys, all in one. Yes, it has some problems. I don't much care for this whole ear gimmick thing that they have. You know, I kind of like that Optimus Prime head by itself. You know, it's, I don't know, it's based on choices and your own preferences there. I mean, you can either like it or not, or whatever. It's all about your choices, but I don't care for this pop-up ear gimmick. I've never liked that gimmick in any of the Titans Return line. I didn't think it was necessary. I think they could have did other things, but that's just me. And I like gimmicks, don't get me wrong. I like gimmicks. It's just, I don't think it was particularly needed for this guy. So anyway, this has been my part in TFfangeeks all-time favorite Optimus Prime toy challenge. And I recommend you take part in the challenge. I'm not going to tag anybody. Again, that was optional. If you're watching this and you feel like partaking in it, all I ask is please do so. By all means, do so. But make sure you reference TFfangeek, as he is the originator of the challenge. Make sure you include a link to his channel in your description. Beyond that, have fun. And I will also include a set of the rules in the description down below. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out my playlist. Make sure you hit the like button and click that bell icon to stay up to date for all my videos. Above all else, stay safe, stay healthy, and be good to each other.